Okay, I had a WhatsApp call, so I was sorry. I'm gonna have to get back. Let's see if I can remember where I was at. Okay, I was talking about food preparation and preparing food, and I say I was talking about some of the things that you would be needing if you're going to try to feed 200 people a day, and that's 2 meals a day. Okay, I mentioned a wok, and you probably need more than one, and big one all the way down to maybe a smaller one, and because it's easy to clean, you don't need much water to clean them up. As a matter of fact, you just put a little bit of water in there and you swish it around and you clean it up. Okay. Another thing is the soup pot, the large soup pot, because there's going to be a lot of soup going to be being made. And another thing would be a grill. A grill would be just a solid, flat surface, and that's because over an open fire, it's something that you can keep things warm on, and also, like I say, pancakes, and so there's certain things that you can use that would be really helpful. Cast iron skillets, and the reason it's cast iron is same thing, the cleaning. The way you clean cast iron is a little bit of water, and you just wipe it out. So because the thing is, you got to remember, when you are cooking over an open fire, when a shit hits the fan situation, you're not going to have running water. And so without access of running water, there's going to be a whole lot of different types of changes you're going to be making when it comes to preparing food. You won't have refrigeration, so food will be made up pretty much on the spot. Your leftovers will be used all the time. You don't have no way to store it. Let's see. Knives. You're going to have the proper knives. There'll be like where I'm from. We're country, out in the country. We have plenty of chickens, pigs, cattle. But we are going to have to clean them, butcher them, and work on that type of stuff. So you need to have it's set up for that, where you'll be able to use up all of it that you make up. I've got some tables. We're going to be needing more in the way of preparing food. Talking about that, I know when I mentioned table, I thought I bet you some of you are thinking of a table service. Okay, but it's not going to be nothing like that. That's not going to be my problem. When it comes to preparing is my problem. But it's something that you're going to have to think of in the way of eating this food. and that is you're going to have the silverware. Are you going to be eating out of a hubcap? You know, I don't know. And when it comes to preparing food, I'm not going to wash your dishes. So we've got enough problems of our own. It's not going to be like it's some kind of a cafeteria where you just come on in and help yourself. That's not going to be what it is in my bus. So, you know, I mean, you're going to be lucky to have the food. So I would suggest maybe a mess kit of some type that you would have, and just for in case. And when it comes to preparing, now I'm probably I'm going to have to get started on all the seasonings and stuff like that, because I say I'll be preparing the food, but it's not necessarily I'm going to have the food, but I've got to have all the stuff I need to get the most out of the food. Okay, now that was, I think I pretty much covered everything on the preparation of the food. Okay, now I want to talk about the logistics. The logistics, when I talk about the logistics of the food, it's where does this food come from? I covered a little bit of it when I was talking about we're country folk, and in our community we've got livestock, and then, you know, of course there's the wildlife, but remember, and it's what a lot of people don't think of, that wildlife isn't going to be around for long. There's going to be a lot of hungry people, and wildlife is going to be one of the first things that are going to be taken out. If you know anything about the Indian culture, the American Indian culture, they moved seasonal to different places, and they did that so they didn't kill off all the wildlife. They would move to different areas, and they would protect their territories. Their territories is the areas that they would be moving in, and so they'd be like on a circuit. They'd go around, and they would know they would be this type of wildlife in the way of animals. They know they'd be this type in this particular area, and at that particular season, and then they would go to another area and see a different type of wildlife in that particular area, or maybe it's going to be more fish in that particular area, and this way they don't completely wipe them out. Now I tell you, I am part Indian, so I know some of the Indian culture, but I don't know for a fact if they would plant and then leave and come back and get, you know, every place they'd go they would plant, and so as they made their circuit, by the time they come around it'd be ready to eat. I don't know that for a fact. This is kind of weird here. In Vietnam, it was funny because marijuana, you would see marijuana growing just about all over, and the reason was, I don't know if it was all that wild or it was planted, because like I say, as I was along the DMC, and as the North Vietnamese army would go to the south, they had their routes, their circuits that they would go on. And they would have marijuana plants already growing. They would have racks where they were drying it. And so this way, when you come in, you get some of the marijuana that's already dried and ready to go, and you pick some and put that up on the rack, and so then it's a system that's continuous. And so I'm not sure if the Indians did it the same way or not, but that is, I could see how that would work when they would grow, start things growing, move to the next area, plant some more while they're harvesting, and they're planting at the same time. So you'll have the logistics on future food, and where are you going to get this future food? And it's going to be, some of it will be, like I say, in the way of trading. You need to have food, even because most of the time you will have abundance of something, and that abundance is what you would be working deals with in another area. So so you need to think ahead when it comes to where future foods are going to be coming from. Not only what you can produce, but what you can produce and do some swapping with the neighboring community. And like I say, they've got people that I think it's odd that they want to store so much food. And because when you have so much food stored, now you're limited on, you can't move. Remember, we were talking about the Indians, how they would move on their different ways of moving around. You couldn't do that if you had a bunch of food stored. So I could see storing some, but you don't want to try to survive on stored food. So thinking stored food is going to be your future food is not a good idea.